Hello guys, welcome back to Logic Sharp. So today's lesson I'm going to explain why do we need while loops. You might think we already have for loops, so what the purpose of this while loop? Can't I just use for loop? So I'm going to show you the difference between using for loops and while loops, and we are going to use this game as an example so that you can actually understand the main reason why we need while loops. Now, in this game, we have a flag here, and this flag is sitting at this position. For my robot to reach this flag, I have to write some code. And if you actually look at this, you can see that we have the same number of cells, which means I have to calculate how many times this robot have to go through these steps. Now, don't forget, according to the rules of this game, we definitely have to turn right in this situation because I have to make the robot turn right. So I'm just going to start by defining a function called turn right. So I'm going to define a function called turn right. And don't forget, maybe let's just use a shorter form. I'm just going to call it right. I don't want to type too much. So def right. Now, this turn right, anytime I call it, I want it to do what? To make the robot turn to the right hand side. We already know all these things, so I'm just going to type turn left 3 times. Now I have my turn left 3 times, which means I already have the what? The turn right, right? So now the next thing is I have to figure out the way to make this robot to reach this what? To reach this flag. So how am I going to do that? So I can start by writing my code. The first thing is that I have to know how many times will this bot need to move to reach this endpoint, right? I can do it like that. So I have to calculate, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the flags, the bot have to move 12 times. So I can just say that for high in what? In range of 12. So what will happen in that 12 times? I want this robot to move. So I can just say move. We can actually test this. Let me just increase the speed. You can test this. Let's run it. You can see we are now at the what? At the edge, right? So which means after reaching the edge, I have to do what? I have to face up, right? So I can say that after reaching this place, so let me just press enter, another new line. So I'm now outside the for loop. So I can just say that once we reach the edge, the bot is facing this place and it needs to face this side, which is the left hand side. So I can just say that turn what? Turn left. Now after turning left, then I want the bot to do what? To move up, so that we can move to the next stage, right? So if I run this code now, you can see it runs to the edge, then it do what? It move up, right? Now once the robot move up, we can see that we still have to move to the what? To the left hand side. So I'm just going to say that turn left, move, then do what again? Then turn left again. Turn left. So let's run the code again. So it's moved, then it turned left, which means the robot is now facing this what? This side. Now, if we count from this stage, if we count the cell from this stage, you can see that it is another 12, which means we still have to repeat this thing again, right? We still have to repeat this. So I can clearly define a function. I can say that def is equal to clear row. Since this is one row, I can call it clear what? Clear row. That is, I want it to clear the row. Now I can now put all this. I can put all this inside this function, right? Sorry. can put all this inside this function. So okay, good. Now I have this function called clear row, which means anytime I call this function, anytime I called clear row, it's going to clear the first row for us. You can see it's clear the first row, which means if I call the clear row again, it's definitely going to try to clear the second row, right? So let me call it again and run the code. You can see we try to clear the second row, but there is a bug, because in the first row we are facing the right hand side, and in the second row we are facing the what? The left hand side, which means I have to write a condition that we check if the bot is facing the right. If it's facing the right hand side, then we have to do some particular task. If it is facing the left hand side, then it has to do another particular task. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to declare a variable here, and this variable is going to be called, what? I can actually do it like this. I would have used a parameter, but since we have not learned parameter for now, so I'm just going to skip this. When we reach the level of parameter, I can actually show you something like that, which make more sense. So this is what I'm just going to do. I'm going to declare a variable. Just call it I'm going to declare a variable. What's the best way to do this? Okay, you can just remove all this from the function, so that the purpose of this function is just going to be to clear the row, that is to move the robot from here to what? To here. Do you understand that? It's going to be to move the robot from here to what? To this place. Now we have the clear row. Now the next thing is that I want to check if this robot is facing this side or not, so that if the robot is facing this side, it's going to turn to the left, but if it's facing this side, it's going to turn to the right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to write a function here. I can still write a function that says, or we can just create a variable. So I'm just going to create a variable called isRight. GHT. So isRight, which is going to be a boolean, which will be true by default because the robot is facing the right hand side by default. Now here is the thing. We have isRight, which is equal to what? Which is equal to true. That is the robot facing the right hand side? It is facing the right hand side. By default, it's going to be true. Sorry, it's going to be capital letter T. So it's going to be true. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm now going to check if the robot is facing the right hand side. I want him to do this, and if he's facing the left hand side, I want it to do another thing. So I'm going to say if isRight. So if it is right, then we know that our robot is facing the right hand side. Then we want to do what? We want to clear the row. So I'm just going to call clear what? Clear row. Right? Now after clearing the row, we want to do some particular movement, which is turn left. After turning left, then move. After moving, then turn left again. Now if I run this code, we are going to have move, turn left. Now it's facing the right hand side, so that means I can actually write else and do the same thing, which is clear row, and in this clear row we are going to turn what? Turn right, then move, then turn right again. So this is the second option. Now if we are turning right, definitely the robot is going to turn right. Once the robot finish executing this code, definitely we want to change the status to left, because if the robot successfully navigate this place, definitely it's going to be turning to the what? It's going to be facing the left hand side. So I'm going to change this isRight to what? To false. So I'm going to say that isRight is equal to not is right. So what's the meaning of this? I say that is right by default. Is right is true. So if we reach this line, it will say that is right is not is right. That is, what is the initial value of is right? True. If I say not true, something that is not true definitely is going to be what? Is going to be false, which means I'm changing is right to what? To false. So I have to declare the same thing here also. Is right equal to not is right. Now we are done with this. Let's test it. If I run the code, you can see now the next thing is that we have to create a loop. Since we know all these things are the same, we have to create a loop which will do what? Which will loop all through these stages. So I'm going to count. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. This is 9. So I'm just going to create a for loop at the top. I can say that for I in range of what? Of 10. So what do I want to what exactly do I want within the range of 10? I want the bot to check all these rules. So let's test it. So if you run this, we have this, name error, turn right. What mistake did we don't have turn right, we only have right. Sorry, I changed it to right instead of turn right. So I'm just going to try again. So I'm going to rerun the code. Let's make the speed increase. Okay, we are good. Okay, now you can see now we move in range of what? In range of 10. But if you notice that within this range of 10 we have passed the goal, which is wrong, which means we have passed the goal, which makes our game failed, right? Because we move past the goal, which is definitely wrong, which is not correct, right? Now this is what I'm going to do. I have to make sure that the robot did not move past the goal, which means I have to track it. I have to check in each movement. Now I have to be checking that is the robot on the flag, or is the robot in the goal. So I have to check. How am I going to do this? We can do this in different ways. The first one is that since I know the exact step the robot needs to take, I can definitely just change this from in range of 10 to in range of 9. So let's rerun this and see what's happened. Okay, we are moving. This 9 is even too much. In range of 8. Let's try again. Okay, now as you can see, we reached this step. So I can count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So we need 8 more steps. So I can just say that after finishing this, I can move out of the loops. Then I can create another for loop for I in range of what? Of 7 or 8, in range of 8. Then it should take how many steps? It should just move. That is 8 steps. Then we can try this again. So the bot is moving. Okay, 1 2 3. Yes, you can see now our bot stop exactly at the what? At the flag. Now you might think that yes, we have arrived, we have solved the problem. But if you look at this code, we only use for loop because we see exactly where the flag is. But this doesn't mean that we are going to pass the task, because in this task the flag changes direction. Let me submit this code. If I submit the code, you can see it's failed. it failed the first what? The first case. It says we move past the goal instead of what? Instead of stopping. It says we already moved past the goal. So we can actually click check test to see what's happened. If I check the test, you can see that the flags changes. The flag changes from this position to this position, which make us to do what? To fail the test. You can see we have passed the flag, moved past the goal instead of what? Instead of stopping. You can see that we moved past the goal here, which means this for a range loop cannot work when we don't know the exact step we need to take. That is the big and the main difference between using what? Between using a while loop and a what? And a for loop. When you are using for loop, we only use for loop when we know the exactly steps we want to take. We know the exact time we want an iteration to do what? To run. And we use while loop when we don't know the exact step we want to take, but we know a certain condition. Maybe for example, I want to continue running. Okay, for example, now I'm playing a game. When I'm playing a game, we usually use while loop because I want the game to continue until the player's life reach is 0. This is a good example of while loop because we don't know how many times it will take the player for his life to do what? To reach is 0, which means I'm going to use while loop there. And what I will be tracking is the what? Is the life of the what? Of the player. Now, according to this game, what we're supposed to be tracking is this flag. That is, our player is supposed to be moving as long as we have not reached this what? This flag. Which means the best option I'm supposed to use here is what? Is the while loop instead of for loop, because this flag is going to be changing direction. The first case, the flag might be here. The second case, it might be here. Even it might be in front of the bot, which means I have to take track of the position of the what? Of the flag. So instead of writing all this, I'm going to scrap all this. I'm going to scrap it. So I'm not going to follow the rules. Since I don't know the exact step I need to take, I'm going to use something called while loop. And don't forget, inside this command, we have some built-in functions. And one of the built-in function is called what? At goal. That is, if we reach the goal, if we are on the flag, whether the robot is currently standing on the what? On the goal tile. Which means I can use this at goal. This is a condition because it returns true or false. This is a boolean. It returns true or false. So if I declare my while, that is while true, if at goal is true, then I want something to do. I want the robot to do something. If at goal is false, that is if you have not reached the goal, I want the what? I want the robot to do something else. So this is exactly the logic we are going to be using. So I'm going to rewrite the code again. This time around, we are going to use the while loop. So I'm just going to type my while, just ordinary while. And don't forget, we check the function which is called at go. And the purpose of at go is that when the robot reaches the flag, it's going to return true. And if the robot has not reached the flag, it's going to return what? It's going to return false. Now, when we are talking about condition, the only time when the condition will run is if the actual condition returns true. For example now, if I type while at go, and I say that it should do what? The player should move. Now, if I run this, you will notice that nothing will happen. You can see nothing happen. Why? Because the player is not at go. While at go simply means that if this bot is on the flag, which means if I check this while at go, is the bot on the flag? No. Which means it's going to return false. And if this while loop return false, anything inside the while loop will not do what? Will not run. Now, I have to think, how will I make this work? So I have to change this at go to not at go. That is, why not at go? What will happen? This at go is definitely false, Abi. This at go is false. So if I put not false, something that is not false is definitely going to be true. Which means if we read this now, it will now be while true. And since this one is giving us true, anything inside this place is going to do what? Is going to run. So if I run this code now, you can see it moves, right? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is that you can see that our bot has to take some steps here before he reach this level. And don't forget, according to our calculation, we already calculated that it needs to take maybe like is it not 10 or 12? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 12. So it has to take 12 steps. So definitely, if you are not at the goal, can write a condition that why not at goal, take a 12 steps, then do what, then turn to the left and this and that. I can do that. Now let me just do that. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a for loop here. So in this for loop, we are going to say that this is why not at go, if you are not at the go. So I'm going to take a for loop here, which is for I. This is not the best practice. I'm still going to show you another way. For I in what? In range. Range of what? Range of 12. Right? Range of 12. Then I don't even need to do this. I don't even need to do this. I just have to check. So this while loop I can just check directly. This is our while loop, Abi. Why not at go? If you are not at go, I want the robot to do what? To move. Now, before the robot can move, I have to write a condition, certain condition. And the condition is that I have to confirm if the front is blocked or not. That is, if this front is blocked or not. So which means I have to write a condition that says, if we have another condition here called front is clear. You can see front is clear. So I can use this front is clear. It's also like at go, which means it returns true or not. So I can say if front is what? If front is clear. That is, if there is nothing in the front, I want the robot to do what? To move forward. So this is going to be move. Now, we are going to have an else here. Or we can just use an elif. Let me just use else. So we are going to have an else here. So what if front is not clear? Which means, why not at go? This is going to be working as long as the front is clear. For now, let me just write pass. That is, I don't want anything to happen for now. Let's rerun the code and check it. You can see our this is an infinite loop, because since I put pass here, it's going to, this time is definitely going to hang. I just wrote an infinite loop. So let me just wait for the system to come around. I just wrote an infinite loop. I think my system should be able to handle that. Let's just wait. Hey God, oh. I think I handled the infinite loop problem. Okay, I handle it. As you can see, the infinite loop has stopped. So stop, the program ran too much without finishing. So that's my bad on my side. I actually wrote an infinite loop. So because of this pass, this while loop will just continue to run. So instead of pass, I will just say break. I know that we have not done this. So let's just keep that for now. So I'm just going to type break. So I'm going to rerun this code. So once the front is not clear, we run this else condition. And in this else condition, we already knew that front is not clear. So we have to check whether we are in the right hand side or in the left hand side. So I still have to declare my variable, which is called is right. Okay, we have declared our is right, which is equal to what? Which is equal to true. After declaring this is right, which is true, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm just going to continue with this is right. We have to determine whether the bot is facing the right hand side or it is facing the left hand side. So if the bot is facing the right hand side, we know that we have to turn to the left, then move up. So I'm going to type it here that if is right, that is, we are facing the right hand side. If is right, then we want to do what? We want to turn left. Turn left. Then we are going to move. Then turn left again. So let's try this. Let's try this and see what's happened. So we move, we turn left. Then let me just write my break. Oh, I don't want my system to hang again. So just type break. So let's run this. You can see it actually moves and it turns this side again. So I'm going to try again. This time around, what if it is not right? Don't forget this is right, so we have to negate that is right. So I'm just going to turn is right to what? To equal to not is right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to use else. Definitely if it is not right hand side, then it is left hand side. It is just as simple as that. So I'm just going to say that if it is not right, it is left. So if it is not left, if it is not right, then we have to turn what? We have to turn right. That is, if we are on the left side, we have to turn right. So just type right, R-I-G-H-T, right 2 times, and between it we are going to move just once, right? You can see right, move, right. Now we can actually test the code. Don't forget the is right. We have to toggle the variable again. Is right is equal to not is right. Now let's run this code again. Let me just run it. We have this, you can see we just created the perfect loop. You can see that, and I believe we are going to reach the flag with just this. You can see. Now can you see the difference? Immediately we reach the flag, the while not at go do what? It's trigger. Why does this return false? The main reason is that we have while not at go, which means this at go is definitely going to give us what? It's going to give us false. When the bot has not reached the flag, this at go is going to give us false. And we use not, which means if not false. That is why not false. If something is not false, then definitely it is true. Now, once this bot reach the flag, this at go is going to turn to what? Is going to turn to true, because this at go has now reached the flag. Now don't forget we have not here. Not true simply means false, which means this while is going to turn to false. And once this turns to false, everything inside this place will not run anymore, which is why our bot stopped exactly at the flag. So I believe with this you will be able to understand how while loop actually works and what makes while loop different from for loop. So we can actually submit this task. As you can see, I passed all the checks. You can see all check passed. Case 1 reach case 2, case 3 and case 4. So thank you for watching to the end. See you in the next video. Thank you.